You're welcome back to the program. The nation's gross domestic product contracted by 2.24% year-on-year in real terms in the third quarter of 2016. Now, this was lower by 0.18 points from growth recorded in the preceding quarter, and also lower by 5.08 from growth recorded in the corresponding quarter of 2015. Let's get some insight into why these numbers are the way they are. Mr. Bismarck Rwani is the Chief Executive of the Financial Derivatives Company, and he joins us from Lagos. Hello, Mr. Bismarck. If you can hear me, just give us your thoughts as regards the latest GDP figures. Okay, I'm afraid we can't get to hear Mr. Rwani. Let's move on. At a news conference at the end of the 2016 Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Summit, that is the final for the President of the United States, Mr. Barack Obama. He confronted a world moving away from his promotion of free trade, and he addresses a peace plan for Syria, talking about the fact that if he is leaving office, he hopes to see the various free trade pacts that has been negotiated by his administration to be completed.
The meeting yesterday with my fellow leaders of the Trans-Pacific Partnership was a chance to reaffirm our commitment to the TPP with its high standards, strong protections for workers, the environment, intellectual property, and human rights. Our partners made very clear during the meeting that they want to move forward with TPP. Preferably, they'd like to move forward with the United States. A number of countries are already starting to ratify TPP. At the same time, we're already hearing calls for a less ambitious trade agreement in the region with lower standards, lower protections for workers, lower protections for the environment. That kind of agreement would obviously exclude U.S. Workers and businesses and access to those markets. So for all those reasons, I believe that TPP is a plus for America's economy, America's workers, American jobs. I think not moving forward would undermine our position across the region, our ability to shape the rules of global trade in a way that reflects our interests and our values. There are other very important countries, like China, where we can, if it weren't for China's cooperation, we couldn't have gotten the Paris Agreement done. But China's not the one who was going around organizing 200 nations to sign on to a Paris Agreement, or putting together the paper and the policy outlines and the conceptual framework. Russia is a very significant military power, but they're not worrying right now about how to rebuild after a hurricane in Haiti. We are, and Assad, as a consequence, has been emboldened. Look, this is a man who has decided that destroying his country, turning it to rubble, and saying its population scattered or killed, was worth it for him to cling to power, when he had the option to peacefully engage in a transition that could have kept the country intact.
So that was U.S. President Barack Obama speaking at the APEC summit just concluded in Peru. Let's get back to our GDP story. Mr. Bismarck Rwani is standing by to give us his insight into how the numbers turned out for the third quarter. Mr. Rwani, thank you so much for coming back on the show.
Good afternoon, Balaji.
We just want to know your thoughts about the latest figures released by the National Bureau of Statistics. Did the numbers come as a surprise?
No, I think it came as a surprise, and it's definitely a surprise to the negative. We've had 3 consecutive quarters of increasing negative growth, which means that we've gone from an economic crisis into an